The pocket planet Theo wasn't supposed to believe in magic. At 10 years old, he knew rocks were just rocks and marbles were for games. But the thing under his pillow that Tuesday night, it hummed, not a buzz, but a soft, warm thrum, like a purring cat made of starlight. He cupped it in his palms, a marble, yes, but swirling with nebulae of sapphire and emerald, shot through with veins of liquid gold. And deep within its core, a faint, rhythmic pulse, curiosity, that insistent itch behind his ribs. He held it close to his eye. The world dissolved. Inside, the marble wasn't glass, but a living world. Verdant forests of crystalline trees shimmered under a sky the color of twilight. Rivers of liquid silver snaked through valleys dotted with glowing mushrooms. And on a tiny shore of a sapphire sea, creatures no bigger than Theo's fingernail round, fuzzy beings with eyes like polished obsidian waved frantic, hopeful little arms up at him. One held up a leaf like a sign, "Help," Theo gasped, and the vision vanished. The marble felt colder, dimmer. The gold veins were fading. Panic, sharp and sudden, pricked his throat. "It's dying." That night, sleep wasn't escape, it was a mission. Theo tumbled into the marble, landing softly on moss that felt like velvet. The air smelled of rain and ozone. The tiny creatures' lumina, he'd later learn they called themselves, swarmed his boots, chittering anxiously. Their leader, a wise elder with fur-like spun moonlight, named Orla, pointed a trembling paw towards the planet's heart, a mountain shaped like a sleeping dragon, its peak dark and cold. "The sun heart sleeps," Orla's voice chimed in his mind, not his ears. "The shadow moss creeps. Without its light, our world fades." Theo saw it, then a creeping grayish fuzz swallowing the vibrant moss at the mountain's base. Leaching the color from the land, it felt sad, heavy, like the planet itself was holding its breath. "Can I fix it?" Theo whispered. Orla nodded gravely. "Only a dreamer's courage can wake the heart, but the path is perilous. The moss feeds on fear." The journey began. Theo waded through the silver river, its currents tugging at his ankles like cold fingers. He crossed the whispering woods, where the crystalline trees groaned softly, their light dimming as the shadow moss touched their roots. Each step felt heavier, the air thicker with a damp, chilling gloom that whispered doubts. "You're too small, you'll fail, go home." He almost did. Standing at the base of the Dragon Mountain, the shadow moss writhed like living smoke, blocking the narrow path upwards. Fear, cold and slick, coiled in his stomach. He thought of the luminous, hopeful waves, the fading gold in his pocket marble. "They believed in me." Taking a deep breath that tasted of ozone and resolve, Theo stepped into the shadow moss. It wasn't solid, but a chilling fog that seeped into his bones. Showing him flashes, tripping in the schoolyard, a failed science project, the lonely ache of moving to a new town. But Theo didn't flinch. He remembered the warmth of his mum's hand, the triumph of finally riding his bike. The sheer wonder of holding a whole world in his palm. He pushed forward, not with force, but with quiet, stubborn care. Where his feet touched the moss, tiny points of light sparked like fireflies, hatching, and the grey receded, just a little. The summit was a cavern of obsidian, cold and silent. In its center, nestled like a sleeping bird, was the sun-heartosphere of pure, dormant light, veined with the same gold as the marble, but utterly dark. Around it, the shadow moss pooled thickest, pulsing with a hungry emptiness. Theo knelt. He didn't know spells or grand gestures. He just cared. He thought of the luminous, tiny waves, the silver rivers, the crystalline forests. He placed his hand gently on the cold surface of the heart and whispered, "Wake up. You're needed." For a heartbeat, nothing. Then, deep within the stone, a single point of gold flared. Then another. Light bloomed outwards, warm and fierce, pushing back the shadow moss like dawn, scattering night. The cavern filled with a gentle golden radiance. The sun heart pulsed, thrums strong and steady, echoing the marble's original hum. Theo tumbled back into his bed, gasping. Dawn light filtered through his window. In his hand, the marble blazed with renewed life, warm as a sunbeam, its core pulsing with healthy, golden light. He rushed to the window. Outside, the ordinary world seemed brighter. The leaves on the oak tree glistened with impossible emerald. The sky held a hint of sapphire depth he'd never noticed before. That night, under his pillow, the marble hummed contentedly. Theo smiled. He hadn't just saved a pocket planet. He'd learned that courage wasn't the absence of fear, but the choice to care despite it. And sometimes the smallest worlds held the biggest light and the greatest responsibility. He tucked the marble gently back under his pillow, a silent promise echoing in the warm thrum against his skin. "I've got you."